All right. What up, everybody? Welcome to the Sounds and Sights Daily Show with your host, Nick Saenz. Today is a very special day because did you see my intro? I figured out how to do, check this out, how to do a little intro so that it's not just me staring at the screen trying to figure out what's going on. I thought that was pretty nifty. Designed that in Canva, and I'm not sponsored by Canva. I don't have any money from them. In fact, I pay them money, but I would love to do some sort of partnership with them because honestly, all of my album artworks, even just that, like I had an idea in my head, I whipped it up. I don't know how to use Photoshop and I don't really care to yet. So, anyway, just a shout out that's an amazing service. But anyway, so what do we have on today's little agenda? So, today's mantra that popped up on my phone was, I will take this one step at a time. And, that as artists, that definitely always rings true as something to kind of aspire to, because it can feel like we're doing so much at once. And in reality, a lot of times we are doing a shit ton of stuff at once. And it's definitely a balancing act trying to kind of break it down into manageable chunks. Like today, I think I didn't break kind of what I had to do down enough, and I'll get into like kind of what I was up to. It involved setting up my website actually, and kind of falling down the rabbit hole of that. And when you try to do too much at once, it gets overwhelming and it doesn't feel as satisfying as it potentially could be. So, we will take one step at a time. That's what we're doing here. I'm a fundamental believer in just a bunch of consistent little itty bitty steps, all pushing you in the right direction towards where you want to go, and you will get there. So anyway, that's what we're doing here. Nothing crazy is happening overnight. I'll be honest. Like there's no, we're not working 24 hours a day. We're just steadily pushing towards what we want more consistently than everybody else. and over time you will fucking win. But anyway, what did I do today? I set up the Sounds and Sights website, which is not quite live yet. I'm still working on it, but basically what I wanted to do, and was kind of the original purpose of this Sounds and Sights experiment, was to, in addition to live streaming all of my music production and singing and anything that I do so that you guys can learn from it, I think that there's also value in a little bit more curated kind of tutorials or just kind of transfer of the knowledge or things that I've tried into kind of a way that's a little bit more easily consumable. Because, I think that there is definitely a value to seeing me do stuff live, but I think that there's also a lot of value in actually kind of, really me taking the time to succinctly say what I want to say, and kind of package these things that I've learned into a way that's just easily consumable, because that's something I really love doing, and I take great pride in, is being able to break down things that may have taken myself years to learn, but putting it into a way that's digestible and someone can understand in a way that's meaningful in, over the course of like maybe a 5-minute video. So I think that's where that stuff will live. It will live on this website called Sounds and Sights. If it's a kind of a, here's 5 steps to set up your vocal chain, or, it may not be something as, basic as that, but, it might be, three tips to balancing your day job and working a creative career. Because that's honestly a video that I've already scripted out and made, and is something that I've struggled with and learned and, iterated on over the past few years, because I've been making music every day for more than 3 years now, every single day. And I have worked a full-time software engineering job, a demanding one, every fucking day. And during that 3 years. So, I definitely want to share kind of these more specific things with y'all because I think that they'd be super helpful. And then what else? So today was kind of like a non-musical day. It was mostly doing kind of the back end bookkeeping stuff that just kind of needs to be done as an artist. And one of those things included setting up an LLC for my music business. And I remember I was watching a video, I think it was Pharrell, and he was just like, to be an artist today, you got to have good music and you got to have the business. It is the music business. You can't have one without the other. Like either, he put it in a way that was kind of interesting, but the way that I understood it was, if you have the business acumen, but you don't have the good music, like people are going to take advantage of you. They're going to sucker you into, paying for stuff that you shouldn't because you just don't know, and then it was like the other way around. If you were excellent at the music, but you didn't know the business, then people weren't going to take your money. They were going to make your money for you. Like you'd be paying people, the money that you're making, you pay them in a fees that don't even make sense because, you're generating this value, but you don't know the worth of that value because you don't know the business. So it goes both ways. As an independent artist, if you would like to make this something of a career, and even just in general, it's helpful to know, even if you're not delving in it day to day, at least having the cursory understanding of how it is that people in this industry make money. I mean, it's like I feel like people get so squeamish when people talk about money and creative careers and creativity, but the reality is that we kind of need money to eat, to pay the bills, to do the things that we want to do, to invest in our music careers. Like music isn't free. This microphone, this computer that I'm running all this through, this camera, like everything takes some amount of investment. So being able to be aware of how to make money from this thing that we do and that we love doing is not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of, that our craft has value to people and they're willing to pay, So, it's obviously not all about that, but, there are a bunch of people I feel like that, poo-poo thinking about the business end of this when it's a reality. It's how it operates, and nobody should be ashamed or weirded out by the fact that if you write for somebody else and you're not just doing it for exposure and you ask somebody to pay you for your time is valuable. If you're a good songwriter, if you're a good producer, if you're a good mix engineer, you demand value. You are worth value. So that's something that I think a lot of artists struggle with, or at least that even artists that I've worked for, they feel weird about asking me for money, and I'm like, yo, like I'm coming to you because I know what you're worth, and I'm willing to pay that, and if I'm not, if somehow I'm in a situation where I can't afford it, either A, I need to find somebody else, or B, provide them with value in some other way, but anyway, so where was all that going? Basically, I spent today doing the back office stuff. I created an LLC for all my music stuff, and I'll make a separate video around why that's important. But to my understanding, separating out your kind of business and musical life and expenses and all that has to do with that is beneficial, from separating it from your personal stuff, because let's face it, there's a lot of copyright disputes, there's ownership, there's a lot of gray area, I feel like, in music with ownership. If you don't have two parties that know how the business, again, going back to the business of music, when you make a song with somebody, do you know what you actually own? Like the song is a thing. It's a thing you've created. It's a thing you own. But You own certain parts of it if you contributed certain things. Like if you wrote some of the song lyrics versus if you produced the beat, those mean two different things in terms of your ownership and kind of stake in that piece of art that you created. It's like if you had a Picasso painting and one person supplied the paint, but the other person actually drew, and the person that paints is the only one that got paid, and the person that actually drew it, or the person that supplied the paint, you know what I mean? It's basically knowing that stuff is crucial. But setting up an LLC is basically just a little bit of a degree of protection for in case there are any misunderstandings. If you were to, in the worst case scenario, get sued, you wouldn't be liable to give up your personal things that you own, aka your house, your your car and that kind of stuff, because that shit has happened. If you've had a song that, let's say you had a song that blows up, you stole it, you stole the beat from somebody, from like BeatStars or something, which says that they own 50% of the song. You make $250,000. Let's make the math easy. Let's say you make $100,000 from that song. Blows up. You're doing well. Awesome. You spend that $100,000, so you're back to nothing. But then they come back and it'll be like, you kind of stole that song from me, and really, I own 50% of that. So I would like my $50,000, please. Right? Which they are entitled to do. Again, going back to the business. In that case, if you had an LLC, you'd be like, well, I owe you as much money as I have in this LLC, which is, it might be the music you own, it might be some cash or whatever it is, but it's not your personal assets like your car, your house, your savings accounts. But if you don't have that separation, you might be fucked. That $50,000 might be coming out of your house. It might be coming out of your car. It might be you liquidating some shit that you didn't plan on liquidating. So, I think that there's a whole separate conversation and thought process that kind of goes into that. And, in reality, some people may say it's not needed until a certain point, but, I think it's, at least for me, something that it's also provided is just like a realistic accounting of what I spend my money on. And I actually spend a decent amount of money on music stuff. So if anything, just kind of keeping that in a separate area where I can monitor it separately, control it separately, and hopefully, I think there are some tax advantages, but I don't think it's really that much, to be honest. I think it's mostly around the legal protection and separation of this business thing that you have and you as a human being. So that was a lot of fun. That was much more involved than I thought. I still haven't even completely done it yet. I think I need to send back some form, but I'll kind of keep you updated with how to do that if anyone is interested. But okay, so since today was kind of I don't want to say a bullshit day, but it was a lot of non-music work. Tomorrow I've let myself just have the whole day to make a new song. So what does that usually entail? My favorite way to make new songs. My favorite way to make new songs is a technique called object writing, which is something that I learned from a book called Write Better Lyrics. Pretty straightforward, huh? But basically you take a word, a noun, or I guess it could be anything. It could be anything really, but it's one single random thing or word, and you write about it continuously for 10 minutes in 10 minutes only. And you go in as much depth as you possibly can in any kind of direction that your mind goes. Let's say it's an orange. I might think, oh man, when I was in Miami, I saw an orange field. I don't know if there are orange fields in Miami, but Florida oranges, I don't know, making connections here, and then when I had the orange juice, it made me think, of getting reflux. And then when I got reflux, I remember I was sick in my bed when I was younger, and I was really angry and upset. And then I write about something that made me angry and upset. So it can kind of go in whatever rabbit hole you want. But the point is to really delve into the senses. I think I kind of mangled the whole point. Like the point in the book was generally to practice speaking about the senses. If it's a tangerine or something, like, what are the smells? What are the sights? Where might you be, and describe that in as much detail as you can. But for me, honestly, those sessions have usually led to just these kind of spiraling paths of thinking about different memories in different ways, because they were triggered via some weird fucking word. So, but, sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked, but tomorrow, gonna write a song and going to record some scratch vocals for it, gonna create an instrumental from scratch. So I think this will be the first time actually that you guys will get to see me create an actual song the way I usually create songs from scratch. I may have posted like, a snippet or two of how I did that, but this will be the first time you'll actually see it end to end. And this is what I call like kind of the idea phase. So anyway, I've blabbed too much, as I am one to do, because I just fucking love this shit so much. But I will leave it there. And I'll hit y'all with the after stream. You just missed me little thing. Oh, I'm so excited. Like, it feels good to be putting stuff together and making shit legit. And in the way that I see it in my mind. That's one of the most fun parts of music, is taking something that you see in your own fucking mind that doesn't exist in the world and making it be, and bringing it out of fucking nothing into something that you saw out of your own brain, out of all the history and experiences that you've experienced in your life, all the neural connections that have been made. You've used that to create something that has never existed until that point. That's dope to me. That's dope as fuck. But anyway, I digress. All right. Well, I'm gonna get out of here, but thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I look forward to streaming live my music creation process tomorrow. Hopefully we can make some good shit, and if we don't, then hey, we learn. But I'm pretty sure I'm excited. I haven't done this in a little bit. I feel like I've been mostly taking songs that already exist or that I wrote earlier and adding layers to them versus starting anew. But starting anew is really fun, and it's one of my favorite parts. I love writing too. So anyway, it's all my favorite part. But until next time, rock on. Oh, check this out. Ready? Oh.